You're listening to the Daily Sales Tips podcast, and I'm your host, Scott Ingram. It's Saturday, so here's our most regular of regulars, Jeff Bajorek.
I'm hearing the term Zoom fatigue thrown around here really casually these days, and I'm not going to disregard what it is because, look, I spend an average of 5 to 6 hours a day on Zoom, much like you are. So I'm not going to tell you that I'm not fatigued by it. What I'm going to say is it's my job to be on Zoom 5 to 6 hours a day, and probably yours too. So get used to it. Zoom fatigue is a you problem. And because your customers have Zoom fatigue, that is not the reason they won't meet with you. That is an excuse that you're creating in your head for them not to meet with you because you're afraid to face the real truth. And that truth is you're just not compelling enough to give them a reason to be engaged enough to take that meeting. Maybe just rewind that 15 seconds and hear it again. Okay? Look, prospects have had salesperson fatigue for as long as any of us can remember. Zoom is just a wrinkle in that scenario. They don't want to hear from you any less because they have to have it over a video conference. They don't want to hear crappy sales pitches from crappy salespeople. You have a choice to not be a crappy salesperson delivering a crappy sales pitch. If you're not interesting, they won't be interested. You can work on your side of the equation. I suggest you do that. And when you figure that out, you're going to have a lot more success. Now, the other side of the coin is you may have Zoom fatigue and you can't bring your best to work. That's a problem, but let's call it what it is, burnout. And I know a lot of people thought that at the beginning of this pandemic, we were all going to be working from home. There'd be less travel time, less frustrating commutes, less wasted time, and we'd have more time to spend with our loved ones, to spend with our hobbies and all that. Yeah, and we all know that idea flew out the door about 9 months ago, right? Like we've all been spending more time in front of our computers trying to get more done, partially because of the uncertainty of the situation. We're trying to do everything we can. And partially because, most of us are, probably pretty addicted to what we do on a daily basis, and we just can't unplug. You need to unplug. If you're experiencing Zoom fatigue, if you haven't accommodated to the idea that this just is your job now, then you need to give yourself a break. You need to set some boundaries. You need to work harder when you're at work so you can shut off when you're not. I'm not saying I'm good at that, but what I am saying is that I know that that is the solution. I'm also not the one complaining about Zoom fatigue. So any way you slice it, whichever side of the coin you want to look at this, Zoom fatigue is a you problem. You owe it to yourself, your company, and your customers to dig into the real reasons why Zoom fatigue is an excuse, and you need to solve them.
For links to many things, Jeff Bajorek, just click over to DailySales.Tips/777. 777. Man, I miss traveling. Oh well, guess I'll just get on another Zoom meeting instead. While I do that, make sure you're subscribed to the podcast and then come on back tomorrow for another great sales tip. Thanks for listening.